Have you ever wondered who someone really is? Not who they pretend to be, not who they say they are, but who they are deep inside. It's a powerful question, and it's one most people never ask because it's easier to believe the surface, the smile, the charm, the nice words. But life has a way of teaching us hard lessons. People aren't always what they seem, and sometimes the ones we trust the most are the ones who hurt us the deepest. Why does this happen? Because we didn't see their true character. We saw what they showed us, not who they were. But here's the truth. You don't have to live like that anymore. You can learn to see people clearly. You can protect your heart, your energy, and your life. And it doesn't take years to figure someone out. You don't need to study psychology books. You don't need to wait until it's too late. You only need to watch for 5 simple things. 5 things that reveal someone's true self. And once you see them, you'll never be fooled again. Stay with me until the end, because by the time we finish, you'll have something powerful. You'll know how to see. You'll know how to protect yourself. You'll know how to choose the right people in your life. And when you choose the right people, your life changes. You become stronger. You grow faster. You rise higher. This is your reward for staying with me. Clarity, wisdom, and freedom from the wrong people. Now take a deep breath, because we're about to go deeper. Building the context life is made of people. Every dream you have will involve others. Every step forward depends on who's beside you. The people around you will either lift you up or tear you down. They will either speak life into your dreams or crush them in silence. And here's something most people don't realize. Your future isn't just built on what you do. It's built on who you allow into your life. But there's a problem. Most of us judge too quickly. We trust too soon. We listen to sweet words. And we believe pretty lies. Why? Because we want to believe the best in people. And that's not a weakness. It's human nature. Psychologists say we are wired to trust. From the time we are born, we look for connection. We search for safety. We hope to find kindness. But not everyone is kind. Not everyone is safe. And not everyone deserves your trust. This is why you need to learn to see clearly, not with fear, but with wisdom. Because when you see clearly, you choose differently. You protect your energy. You protect your peace. And you stop giving your time to people who only take. That's not selfish. That's survival. You are here to build something amazing with your life. You are here to grow into your best self. And you can't do that if you're surrounded by the wrong people. You can't fly if someone is holding your wings down. So the question is, how do you know who's real? How do you see through the mask? The answer is simpler than you think, and it works because of human behavior. People can fake a lot of things. They can fake words, they can fake smiles, they can fake kindness for a while, but there are 5 things they can't fake. 5 moments when the truth comes out. 5 actions that reveal the soul. And once you learn these 5 things, you will never be the same. You'll have clarity. You'll have power. You'll have control over who gets close to you. And that changes everything. Stay with me because we're about to start. And when we're finished, you'll never look at people the same way again. You are not here to live a small life. You are not here to stay quiet, to stay hidden, or to stay stuck. You are here to rise. You are here to grow. You are here to live the life you were meant for. But there is one thing that can hold you back more than anything else. The wrong people, the wrong energy, the wrong voices around you. You may have the strongest will. You may have the biggest dreams. But if you are surrounded by people who drain you, people who disrespect you, people who use you, your energy will fade, your confidence will break, and your dreams will slowly die. That's why learning to see a person's true character is not just useful, it's necessary. It's survival. It's the difference between building a life you are proud of and living in regret. There are people in this world who will smile at you while they quietly hope you fail. There are people who will stand beside you, but only as long as they can take something from you. And there are people who will tell you they love you, but love for them is only control. It's hard to accept this truth, but it's even harder to live in denial of it. When you ignore the signs, you pay the price. When you trust blindly, you often get hurt. And every time you get hurt, you lose a piece of yourself. You lose time, you lose energy, you lose opportunities that may never come again. That is why this matters. That is why opening your eyes to someone's real character is not harsh. It's wisdom, it's power, it's strength. You are not judging people, you are protecting yourself. You are not closing your heart. You are choosing to love yourself enough to be careful. The people you trust will shape the life you live. The people you give your energy to will either build you or break you. There is no in between. So if you want to build something great with your life, you need people who bring out the best in you. You need people who stand with you, not against you. You need people who celebrate your light, not try to dim it. But how do you find those people? How do you know who is true? How do you protect yourself from those who pretend? It starts with awareness. It starts with knowing that people reveal themselves in small moments, not in grand gestures, not in sweet words, but in quiet actions, in the things they think no one notices. Psychology teaches us this simple truth. Character is not built in public. It's revealed in private. And when you pay attention to the right things, you will always see the truth. You won't need to ask. You won't need to guess. You will know. And when you know, you can choose. You can choose who deserves a seat at your table. You can choose who deserves your time, your energy, your heart. And you can let go of those who don't. This is not about hate. This is not about anger. This is about clarity, about protecting your peace, about valuing yourself enough to say, I will not give my life to people who don't value me. That is the mindset of strength. That is the mindset of success. That is the mindset of freedom. Because when you let go of the wrong people, you make space for the right ones. People who will lift you when you fall. People who will speak life into your dreams. People who will remind you who you are when you forget. And those are the people who will help you fly. But it begins with you. It begins with what you allow. It begins with the standards you set. You teach people how to treat you by what you accept, by what you ignore, by what you tolerate. And if you want a life of peace, a life of purpose, a life of power, you cannot tolerate disrespect. You cannot tolerate dishonesty. You cannot tolerate those who drain you. You are worthy of more than that. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy of love that lifts, not love that limits. You are worthy of friendships that grow you, not friendships that use you. But first you have to believe it, you have to see it, and you have to choose it. It's not easy, but it is worth it, because the quality of your life depends on the quality of your relationships, and the quality of your relationships depends on how well you see. See clearly, choose wisely, live freely, and your life will never be the same. People reveal who they are in the moments they think no one is watching, not when they are performing for approval, but when they are free to be themselves. That's when the truth comes out. And one of the most powerful ways to see someone's true character is to watch how they treat people who can do nothing for them. Think about it. It's easy to be kind to someone when they have power, when they have status, when they can open doors for you. That's human nature. We are wired to give respect to those we think can benefit us. But the real test comes in the quiet moments, when they're dealing with the waiter at the restaurant, when they pass by the janitor in the hallway, when they speak to the driver who opens their car door. Do they offer respect? Do they show kindness? Do they recognize the humanity in those people, or do they ignore them? Do they act superior? Do they make someone feel small because they can? That's the first sign. How they treat people who can do nothing for them tells you everything you need to know about their heart. Because a good heart doesn't need an audience to do what's right. A strong character doesn't look for rewards to show kindness. Respect for others starts when no one is watching. And the truth is, if someone disrespects the people they think are below them, they will disrespect you too when the time comes. It's only a matter of time. Kindness is not a performance, it's a habit. It's a reflection of how someone sees the world. And if they see people as less than, you can be sure they will treat you the same way when it suits them. Psychology shows us this. The way a person treats someone they believe is powerless reveals how they view power itself. Do they use power to lift others, or do they use power to push people down? This is why it's so important to observe quietly, without judgment. Just watch. You'll learn more about someone in 5 minutes of observation than you will in 5 months of conversation. And it's not about grand gestures, it's the small things. Do they say thank you? Do they smile at the person who serves them? Do they listen when someone speaks, even if they think that person isn't important? Because here's the truth. Everyone deserves respect. Not because of what they have, not because of their title, but because they are human. And if someone can't see that, their character is already broken. Now think about your own life. Think about the people around you. Who shows kindness to those who have nothing to offer? Who looks into people's eyes and makes them feel seen? Those are the people you want close to you, because they're the ones who understand value. They're the ones who don't need a reason to do what's right. It's just who they are. And if you find someone who treats the so-called small people with grace, you found someone whose character is strong. You found someone who will be good to you, even when they have nothing to gain. That is rare, but it is worth waiting for, because the people who see value in others are the people who will see value in you. Even when you're at your lowest, even when you have nothing to offer, even when life strips you bare, and all that's left is your truth. And isn't that what we all want? People who stay, people who see us, people who honor us, not because of what we give them, but because of who we are. This is the first way you protect yourself. This is the first step to building a life surrounded by real ones. Watch how they treat people who can't help them. It will tell you everything. It will show you their future, and yours if you stay close to them. Because if they are careless with others, one day they will be careless with you. But if they are respectful to everyone, they will be respectful to you. Always. Not just when you're winning, not just when you have something to give, but even when you're empty, even when you have nothing left, even when you're just you. And that's the kind of person who makes life better. That's the kind of person who makes you better. Choose wisely, because you deserve nothing less. There's another way you can truly see who a person is, not in the easy moments, not when everything is going right, but in the hard times, in the storms, in the pressure. Because who a person becomes under pressure reveals who they really are inside. It's easy to be calm when life is calm. It's easy to be kind when everything is going your way. But when life tests them, when things don't go as planned, when the world feels unfair and heavy, that's when the mask slips. That's when their real self shows up. Pressure doesn't just reveal someone's skills. It reveals their soul. It shows you what they're made of, their strength, their patience, their self-control, or the lack of it. Watch someone when they're angry, when they've lost something, when they feel powerless. How do they act then? Do they lash out at others? Do they blame everyone but themselves? Do they become cruel just because they're in pain? Or do they stay grounded? Do they take responsibility? Do they show grace under fire? Because the truth is, pain doesn't create character, it reveals it. Everyone faces struggles. Everyone walks through dark days, but not everyone chooses how they respond with wisdom. Some people let their anger spill over onto everyone around them. Some people turn bitter. Some people destroy everything in their path, and they excuse it by saying they're hurting. But pain is never an excuse to hurt others. A strong person knows this. A person of true character doesn't lose themselves when life gets hard. They stay steady. They stay kind. They stay respectful, even when they are tired, frustrated, and disappointed. That's the mark of real strength. That's the kind of person you can trust. When you're choosing who to let into your life, look closely at how they handle their bad days. Do they become someone you no longer recognize, or do they rise above the storm? Do they make others pay for what they're going through? Or do they protect the people around them from their own pain? This is the second sign, and it's one of the most important. Because life isn't always going to be smooth. There will be challenges. There will be moments when things fall apart. And you need to know who will stand with you in those times. You need to know who won't turn against you just because they're hurting. You need people who are strong enough to carry their own pain without breaking you in the process. Watch how they react when they fail. Watch how they treat people when they lose. Do they get angry and vengeful? Do they look for someone to blame? Or do they stay calm? Do they take ownership? Do they keep their heart soft even when their world feels hard? This is the kind of character that builds strong relationships. This is the kind of heart you can build a future with. Because no one's life is free from storms. But some people become storms when life gets hard, and others become shelter. You need the ones who are shelter, the ones who protect even when they are under attack, the ones who stay true to who they are, even when everything else is falling apart. Psychology tells us that stress triggers our deepest instincts: fight, flight, or freeze. But mature character rises above instinct. It chooses the higher path. It responds with integrity, not impulse. And that's what you need to look for. You'll see it in their words, in their tone, in their actions. When life puts weight on their shoulders, do they crumble and crush those around them, or do they carry it with grace? The choice they make tells you who they are. Because pressure doesn't make a person bad. It simply shows you what was already inside them. And once you see it, believe it. Don't make excuses for them. Don't tell yourself they'll change. The person you see under pressure is the person they really are. And you deserve to be close to people who stay kind even when life is unkind. You deserve people who stay honest even when it costs them. You deserve people who stay loyal even when they feel alone. Because those are the ones who will stand with you. Those are the ones who will protect you, not hurt you. A strong heart doesn't let pain turn it cruel. And that is the kind of strength you need by your side, not just when things are easy, but especially when life gets hard. Because in the end, true character isn't shown by how high someone can rise, but by how deep they can stand, how steady they can be when everything is shaking, and how much love they still have to give when they feel empty. Those are the people who will build a life with you that lasts. Those are the ones who make life better. Choose them. And choose yourself by letting go of those who don't show up in the storm. Because you are not here to be broken by someone else's battle. You are here to grow with people who bring peace, even in the middle of chaos. There is another truth about people. You see it not in how they start things, but in how they finish them. And even more than that, you see it in how they keep their word. Because promises are easy to make. They're made in moments of excitement. They're made when things are simple, when people feel good, when they want to be liked. But keeping a promise? That's different. That takes strength. That takes commitment. That takes character. A person's true nature is revealed in how they honor their word. Do they follow through? Do they show up when they say they will? Do they do what they said they would do, even when it's hard? Even when they don't feel like it anymore? Even when no one would blame them for walking away? Because life is full of people who say things they don't mean. People who make promises they never plan to keep. People who tell you what you want to hear, but disappear when it's time to act. And that's where you have to watch closely. Not at what they say, but at what they do. Words are cheap, but actions are everything. When someone says they'll be there and they show up, that's real. When they say they'll help you and they do it, even if it's inconvenient, that's character. When they say they'll never hurt you and they live up to it, that's integrity. Because integrity isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about doing what's right, not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. It's about standing by your word, not because you have to, but because you choose to. And here's the thing. People remember not the promises you made, but the ones you kept, or the ones you broke. And those moments, the ones where you either honor your word or walk away from it, those moments define you, not just in their eyes, but in your own. Psychology teaches us this. When we break our promises, even to ourselves, we lose trust. And when we keep them, we build trust. Not just with others, but with ourselves. And trust is the foundation of everything. Every relationship, every bond, every team, every love. Without trust, nothing grows, nothing lasts. So if you want to know who someone is, Watch their consistency. Pay attention to their follow-through. Do they call when they say they will? Do they deliver on their commitments? Do they take responsibility for the things they said they'd do? It's in the patterns, not in one-time moments. Anybody can be reliable once, but true character is revealed in the small, repeated acts, day after day, week after week, year after year. And you'll notice something about people of strong character. They don't make promises lightly. They understand the weight of their words. They speak carefully because they know they intend to deliver. They value trust more than approval. They value honesty more than popularity. They don't say yes to please you. They say yes because they mean it. And when they say no, it's because they respect you enough to be honest. Those are the people you can rely on, the ones who stay true, not just in their words, but in their actions. Because when someone honors their word, they are honoring you. They are telling you, you matter enough to me that I will stand by what I said. And that is powerful. On the other hand, when someone makes promises and breaks them, when they offer you words but never deliver actions, believe them. Believe what they show you, because inconsistency is not an accident, it's a choice. And no one is too busy for the things and people they truly care about. Don't accept excuses. Don't chase after words that are empty. You deserve real. You deserve consistency. You deserve people in your life who say what they mean and do what they say, because that is the kind of relationship that will lift you. That is the kind of person who will be there when it counts. And that's what matters most. It's easy to get caught up in charm, in the right words, in sweet promises that feel good in the moment. But pay attention to what comes after. Pay attention to their actions when the excitement fades, when it's inconvenient, when no one is watching. Because those actions, those quiet moments of follow-through, they tell you the truth. And the truth is, consistency is love. Consistency is respect. Consistency is character. So surround yourself with people who don't need to be reminded to show up, who don't need to be asked to care, who keep their word because it's who they are, not because they have to, but because they want to, because you matter, because their word matters. And that is a reflection of a true heart, a strong mind, and a life that values what's real. This is how you protect your space, by watching what people do when no one expects them to deliver, and they deliver anyway, because they gave you their word, and to them, that's everything. There's something else you need to look at if you want to understand a person's true character. It's in how they treat the people who can't do anything for them, the ones who have nothing to offer, the ones who hold no power, no status, no influence. Watch closely, because this is where you'll find the truth. It's easy to be respectful to someone in a position of power. It's easy to be kind when there's something to gain. But how someone treats those who can't help them, that reveals who they really are. Not who they pretend to be, not who they want the world to think they are, but who they are when there's nothing in it for them. Look at how they speak to the waiter, the janitor, the driver, the person behind the counter. Do they treat them as equals? Do they offer kindness even when no one's watching? Or do they act like they're better? Do they ignore them, disrespect them, or look right through them? Because how someone treats people they don't need, that's their truest reflection. That's their soul speaking. Not their ambition, not their charm, their soul. And here's the truth. Character isn't about the face you show in front of a crowd. It's about how you live when no one's paying attention. It's about how you treat those who can't return the favor. Those moments are not small. They are everything. You see, real strength doesn't need an audience. It doesn't wait for applause. It doesn't treat people with kindness only when it benefits them. Real strength is steady. It's constant. And it's humble. The greatest people you will ever meet are the ones who never act like they're greater than anyone else. They don't look down on people. They lift them up, even when they have nothing to gain, even when no one else notices, even when it doesn't benefit them in any way. Psychology tells us this about empathy. It is the ability to feel for someone without expecting anything in return. It is the ability to see another person's humanity. and act with compassion, even when it's inconvenient, even when they're tired, even when they're stressed. Because when someone shows you empathy in those moments, that's who they are. That's the core of them. So watch their patterns. When they walk into a room, do they only greet the important people? Do they ignore the ones they think don't matter? Or do they treat everyone with respect? Equally, genuinely, because respect isn't just about status, it's about heart, it's about values. And if someone only respects people they think can help them, that's not respect, that's calculation. And you deserve better than that. You deserve people who see you, not because of what you can give them, but because of who you are. You deserve people who are kind when it costs them nothing, because that is real kindness, that is true grace. Look at their small actions. Do they hold the door open for a stranger? Do they say thank you to the one who cleans up after them? Do they smile at someone who has been ignored all day? Those things may seem small, but they're not small at all. They are windows into a person's heart. They show what kind of world they are building around them. And you deserve to be part of a world that is built on kindness and respect. It's easy to love people who benefit us. It's easy to support those who shine a light on us. But true character shows up in how we treat people in the shadows, the ones others overlook, the ones who are often invisible. And there's a quiet dignity in those moments, because the way you treat someone who can't do anything for you, that's the legacy you leave behind. That's the mark you make on their life and on yours. The people who are kind to everyone, regardless of who they are, they create a ripple effect, a world that's gentler, a world that's safer, a world where people matter simply because they exist. That's the kind of world we need, and it starts with each of us choosing to be that kind of person. So pay attention, not to the big speeches, not to the grand gestures, but to the quiet moments when someone could choose to look away, and instead they choose to reach out, they choose to be kind, they choose to give respect even when the world tells them it's not necessary. That's the kind of person who builds bridges, who creates connection, who makes life better for everyone they touch. And that's the kind of character you need to trust. The kind that stays good when no one is keeping score. The kind that stays humble no matter how high they rise. The kind that treats every single person like they matter. Because they do. And the ones who understand that, they are the ones worth walking with. There's one more place where a person's true character stands uncovered. It's not when things are easy, not when life is smooth, but when everything falls apart. Watch someone when they're under pressure, when they're facing loss, when they've been pushed to their limit. That's where you'll see their truth, because who we are in the storm, that's who we are. It's simple to be kind when life is kind to you. It's easy to be patient when everything goes your way. But what happens when life says no? When doors close, when people leave, when plans break? That's when a person's true nature steps forward, and it never lies. When someone is tired, disappointed, or afraid, do they lash out? Do they blame everyone around them? Do they bring others down to feel powerful again? Or do they stay calm? Do they stay grounded? Do they keep their dignity even when it feels like the world is taking everything else away? Because pressure reveals what comfort conceals. When the weight is heavy, character can't hide. It either breaks or it stands taller. And here's what matters. You want to walk through life with people who don't fall apart at the first sign of difficulty. You need people who know how to breathe in the chaos, how to stay steady in uncertainty, how to carry themselves with grace, even in pain. Psychology tells us that stress doesn't just challenge us physically, it tests our emotional intelligence, it reveals our coping mechanisms. Some people respond to stress with anger, they project their pain onto others, they make the world smaller and colder. Others respond with courage, with patience. They bring light into the darkness. They stay soft even when life tries to harden them. That softness, that resilience is strength. And it shows you the kind of person they truly are. So watch closely when someone faces failure. Do they take responsibility? Do they learn? Do they grow from it? Or do they blame, run, and make excuses? Adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. You don't learn who someone is in the sunshine, you see them in the storm. That's when true colors show. That's when masks fall away. And here's the truth, when life hurts, it gives us two choices. We can become bitter, or we can become better. The people who choose better, even when it's hard, they are rare, but they're worth everything. Look for the ones who keep their kindness when they're hurting, the ones who stay generous when they've lost, the ones who hold on to hope when the world says they shouldn't, because that's the strength you want around you. That's the kind of energy that lifts you higher, even in your darkest hours. You'll notice something about people with strong character under pressure. They don't look for someone to blame, they look for a solution. They don't complain about what they've lost, they focus on what they can still give. And they don't tear others down to feel powerful. They stand tall and offer a hand. Their strength is quiet, it's steady. It doesn't need to be loud because it's real. And in a world where people often crumble under the weight of difficulty, these are the people who build instead of break, who heal instead of hurt, who forgive instead of resent. That is true strength, and it's rare. But you will recognize it when you see it. So when you meet someone who stays kind under pressure, who keeps their dignity when everything else is falling apart, hold on to them. Because life will test you too. And when it does, you'll need people who know how to stand in the storm without becoming the storm. People who calm the chaos instead of adding to it. People who choose peace, not because it's easy, but because they've made it who they are. There is no greater sign of a powerful spirit than how someone carries themselves in pain. Not everyone can do it, but those who can, they are the ones who create safety. They are the ones who build trust. And they are the ones who turn difficult seasons into opportunities for growth. When someone is under pressure and they remain honest, when they are hurting and they stay kind, when they are tired but still show up with grace, that is who they really are. And that's how you'll know. That's how you'll see their true heart. Because it's easy to shine in the light, but it's a rare soul who can glow in the dark. And those are the people worth holding close. The ones who stay true, even when the world gives them every reason not to. The ones who stay loving, even when they have been broken, because they remind you that we are not defined by what happens to us, but by how we respond. And in those moments, character is no longer a question, it's an answer, one you can trust. Think about this for a moment. Life doesn't test you in the easy times. It tests you in the hardest times. And in those moments, you are not only facing the challenge in front of you, you are also revealing your character to the world, but more importantly, you are revealing it to yourself. Because in life, storms will come, no one escapes them. Loss will visit you, failure will visit you, disappointment will sit at your table. And in those moments, the question will always be, who are you now? What do you choose when things don't go your way? That's why the way someone behaves under pressure tells you everything. Not just about them, but about how they will treat you when times get tough. How they will love you when loving you isn't easy. How they will support you when you have nothing to offer. How they will stand by you when standing by you costs them something. People reveal their loyalty in difficulty. They reveal their honesty when it's inconvenient. They reveal their patience when life is moving too slow. And they reveal their gratitude when life doesn't hand them what they expected. Character is built in the small, invisible choices, but it's proven in the hard seasons. You'll never know if someone's kindness is real until they have to be kind when they're tired. You'll never know if someone's loyalty is true until staying loyal is hard. You'll never know if someone's love is deep until it has to hold you through the storm. So ask yourself, who do you become when life tests you? And who do the people around you become? Do they show up? Do they stay steady? Do they remind you that you are not alone? Or do they disappear the moment things get uncomfortable? There is something powerful in watching how people react when things go wrong. Do they take responsibility for their part, or do they hide behind excuses? Do they stay calm, or do they create chaos for everyone around them? Do they keep their promises even when it's inconvenient, or do they run when it's no longer easy? This is where trust is built. Not in the promises people make when things are easy, but in the actions they take when it's hard to keep those promises. Psychologists say that pressure magnifies our true nature. Stress strips away the masks we wear. When you're under pressure, your fight or flight instinct kicks in, and in that moment you either choose integrity or you choose self-preservation at any cost. The people who can stay kind when they are under pressure, they have trained their hearts to lead. The people who stay calm when they are overwhelmed, they have learned discipline over emotion. And the people who keep showing up when life knocks them down, they have built strength from within, not from external validation. These are the people you want beside you, because life won't always be smooth. You will need people who can steady your ship when you can't do it alone. And the only way to find those people is to watch how they handle their own storms. Their reaction to pressure tells you whether they are building bridges or burning them, whether they are here for the long road or only for the celebration at the finish line. We live in a world where people often act out of convenience, not conviction, but you can find those who are different, those who live by their values, not their feelings, those who stay true no matter what. And if you are one of those people, know that the world needs you. The world needs people who are steady in chaos, kind in difficulty, honest under pressure, because you become a place of safety for others, and you teach them by example what real strength looks like. Remember, anyone can be kind when it benefits them. Anyone can be calm when life is easy. But not everyone can stay true when they are tested. Not everyone can stay generous when they are empty. Not everyone can stay gentle when they are hurting. Those who do, they are the ones who lead others out of the dark. They are the ones who heal what is broken. They are the ones who leave the world better than they found it. So pay attention. Notice how people act when the pressure is on. How they treat you when they have no reason to, how they carry themselves when they are tired and weary, because those moments, they tell you everything. And when you find someone who is the same person in the storm as they are in the calm, you have found something rare, something beautiful, something worth holding on to, because that kind of consistency isn't common, but it's powerful, and it's exactly what you need if you want to build trust that lasts, relationships that endure, and a life that stands strong no matter what comes. There's something undeniable about a person whose character remains steady through every season of life, not because they have never been shaken, but because they made a choice to hold on to their values even when the world tried to take them away. And the truth is, the hardest part of life is not what happens around you, it's what happens inside you. When the world tests you, the real battle is within. It's the fight to stay kind when bitterness would be easier. It's the choice to stay hopeful when everything tells you to give up. It's the decision to rise above when anger and resentment pull you down. And this is where true character is forged. Not in the easy victories, but in the quiet, private moments when no one is watching. When you're tired, when you're hurting, when you feel like you have nothing left. But you stand up anyway. You stay true anyway. You stay kind anyway. Because that's who you are. Not because it's easy, but because you refuse to let the world change your heart. And here's what makes that powerful. People may not remember your success. They may forget your titles, your wealth, your achievements, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Especially when they were weak, especially when they were lost, especially when they needed someone to stand beside them. This is what builds trust. This is what builds legacy. How you treat others when they have nothing to offer you. How you show up when there is no reward. How you lead with love when it costs you something. Because love is not proven in words. It's proven in actions. Respect is not earned by status. It's earned by consistency. And character is not built by what you say. It's built by what you do over and over when no one is applauding. The deepest connections in life come from knowing someone can be counted on. Not sometimes, not when it's easy, but always. And that kind of reliability is rare, but it's worth everything. You can measure a person's strength by their ability to stay grounded when life tries to shake them. to stay humble when they are winning, and to stay faithful when they are losing, because humility in victory and grace in defeat, that's balance, that's wisdom, and that's true power. Psychology shows us that the human mind seeks safety in people. We are wired to search for those who are consistent, who are trustworthy, because our nervous system responds to predictability with peace. And in a world that is constantly shifting, people who stay the same in their values bring calm to the chaos. So be that person, the one who doesn't change with the wind, the one who holds steady when life is unstable, because you become a rock for others to lean on, and more than that, you become someone you are proud of. You build a life that is solid from the inside out. There is an inner peace that comes from knowing you didn't lose yourself along the way. You didn't let the hard times turn you hard. You didn't let disappointment make you bitter. You didn't let failure define your future. You stayed true. And there is nothing more powerful than that. Because people can take things from you, money, opportunities, status, but no one can take your integrity. No one can take your kindness. No one can take your strength of character, unless you give it away. And the people who hold on, who protect those qualities, they live a life of meaning, a life that echoes beyond them. So when you look at someone, when you try to understand who they really are, don't listen to what they say about themselves. Watch how they live. Watch how they treat people who can do nothing for them. Watch how they behave when they are tired, frustrated, disappointed. That's where their truth lives. And remember, you can't fake character for long. The truth always finds its way out. In moments of pressure, in moments of pain, in moments where it's easier to walk away than to stay loyal. That's when character shows itself. So hold yourself to a higher standard. Be the kind of person who is honest when lying would be easier. Be the kind of person who is kind when cruelty would go unnoticed. Be the kind of person who shows up even when no one thanks you. Because that's how leaders are made. That's how legacies are built. And that's how trust is earned. When your life reflects your values, when your actions reflect your heart, you become unstoppable because you are no longer controlled by circumstances. You are led by principles. You are guided by truth, and you are strengthened by your own unwavering integrity. In a world where so many choose the easy path, be the one who chooses the right one, even when it's harder, even when it's lonelier, because in the end, that's the path that leads to real freedom, and that's the path that leads to lasting respect. There's a certain kind of strength that doesn't make noise. It doesn't need to announce itself. It's not loud. It doesn't demand attention. But when life tests it, when pressure comes crashing in, it holds. It stands firm. It does not break. That's real character. Real character doesn't look for recognition. It doesn't change depending on who's watching. It's consistent even in the dark when no one's there to applaud it. Because it's not about appearances. It's about who you truly are when no one is watching. And that is what people feel when they are around you. They feel your truth, not your image. They feel the energy that comes from someone who is aligned inside and out. And in a world where masks are easy to wear, that kind of alignment is rare. People remember how you made them feel because energy never lies. You can say all the right things, you can act the part, but if it's not real, people will feel it and they will walk away even if they can't explain why. That's why the work of building character starts on the inside. It's quiet work, it's personal work, and most of the time no one sees it. But it's the most important work you'll ever do because life doesn't just test you once. It tests you again and again, and every time it asks the same question. Will you stay true to yourself? In moments of frustration, will you stay patient? In moments of injustice, will you stay fair? In moments of rejection, will you stay kind? That's the test. And it's in how you respond that you discover who you really are. The truth is, everyone can be kind when they feel good. Everyone can be generous when they have more than enough. Everyone can be patient when life is smooth. But when things go wrong, when you're tired, when you're overlooked, That's when your real character rises, or it falls. That's when life whispers the real question, who are you now? And your answer, whether you realize it or not, defines you, not just to the world, but to yourself. Because you can't respect someone who lies to themselves. And you can't build confidence on a foundation of excuses. But when you hold the line, when you stay true, you build something unshakable inside. And that's where unbreakable confidence comes from. That's where self-respect is born. Psychology tells us that the human brain craves congruence. We need our actions to line up with our values. When they don't, we feel it as stress, as anxiety, as a constant inner conflict. But when we act in line with who we say we are, we create inner peace. We quiet the noise inside, and in that peace we find power. Because we are no longer chasing validation. We are no longer dependent on what others think. We know who we are, and we stand in that truth. That's why integrity matters more than almost anything. Because it's not about what you get from others. It's about who you become. And who you become is everything. You are your choices, not your words, not your intentions, your choices. And your choices, especially when no one is watching, shape your destiny. Because who you are in the small moments decides who you'll be in the big ones. If you're honest in small things, you'll be trusted with bigger things. If you're faithful when it's hard, you'll be strengthened when it matters most. And if you're kind when you have every reason not to be, you'll inspire others in ways you can't even imagine. The world watches what you do when the spotlight is gone. That's when trust is built. That's when respect is earned, and that's when legacies are made. You see, life doesn't reward image, it rewards substance. And real substance doesn't fade with time. It grows deeper, it grows stronger, and in the end, it's what stands. So take a moment today, look at your life. Look at your choices. Are they aligned with the person you say you want to be? Are they building the kind of life you'll be proud of? Or are they taking you further from your truth? The world doesn't need more people pretending to be something they're not. It needs more people willing to stand tall in their truth. People who are brave enough to be the same person in the dark as they are in the light. People who are kind even when no one notices. People who stay loyal even when there's no benefit. People who hold integrity as their highest value. Because that's where real strength lives. That's where leadership begins. And that's where you find peace that can't be shaken by anything the world throws at you. You become untouchable. Not because life stops testing you, but because you have passed enough tests to know who you are. And there's nothing more powerful than that. When you think about the people you admire most in life, what stands out? It isn't their titles, it's not their wealth, it's not even their achievements. It's their presence. It's how they made you feel safe, how they made you feel valued, how they stayed consistent no matter the situation. And that consistency, that inner strength, that's character. It's not built in a day. It's built through every choice they made when no one was clapping, when no one was watching, when it would have been easier to compromise. Because real character is not tested when things are simple. It's tested in the storm. It's easy to be kind when everyone agrees with you. It's easy to be respectful when life is going your way. But what about when you're tested, when people question your worth, when life doesn't give you what you deserve? That's when your true self steps forward. That's when you find out if your words match your actions. And it's in that moment you shape your future. You see, every decision you make is like laying a brick. And over time, those bricks build the foundation of your life. If you lay them with care, with honesty, with love, you build something strong, something lasting. But if you cut corners, if you betray your values when it's hard, you weaken the foundation, and eventually everything built on top of it crumbles. It's not immediate, but time reveals everything. That's why the people who hold fast to their principles, even when it's inconvenient, even when it costs them, are the ones who stand tall when others fall. Because they've done the hard work of building something real inside themselves. And real strength can't be faked. It can't be borrowed. It has to be earned. And it's earned in the silent, everyday choices that most people overlook. Psychologists talk about cognitive dissonance. It's the discomfort we feel when our actions don't match our beliefs. And most people live with this conflict every day. They say they want to be respected, but they cut corners. They say they want peace, but they act in ways that steal it from themselves. They say they want trust, but they betray their word when no one's looking. And over time, that internal conflict drains them. It makes them restless, anxious, disconnected from who they really are. But when your actions match your values, when you walk your talk, something powerful happens inside you. You become centered, grounded, unshakable. You no longer waste energy pretending. You no longer fear being exposed because you have nothing to hide. And that gives you peace. The kind of peace that can't be bought. The kind of peace that attracts respect without you saying a word. That's why character is everything. Not just because of what it gives you in the world, but because of what it gives you inside. It builds confidence. Real confidence, not arrogance, not bravado, but the quiet knowing that you are solid, that you are whole, that no matter what comes, you can stand tall because you've done the work. And people feel that, they sense that in your presence. You won't need to convince them. They'll just know, because energy doesn't lie. You want to know someone's true character? Watch them when they have power over someone else. Watch them when they have nothing to gain. Watch them when they're tired or angry or hurt. Do they stay kind? Do they stay fair? Do they stay true? That's who they really are. And that's who you are too in your moments of pressure, because pressure reveals. It strips away the image, it takes off the mask, and it shows what's underneath. You get to choose who you become in those moments. And every small choice adds up. Every time you choose kindness over anger, honesty over ease, patience over frustration, you're shaping your future. You're building the person you'll be when life turns up the heat. And the reward? Freedom. Peace, self-respect, and the kind of influence that doesn't need to be shouted, because true influence is silent. It's how people feel when they're around you. It's the trust you build when you don't even realize it. And it lasts long after words fade, long after achievements are forgotten. It lasts because it's real. So be the person who does the right thing, even when it's hard, even when it's invisible, because the one who stays true in the small things is trusted with greater things. And when the world is looking for someone to follow, they follow the one who has proven they are steady. They follow the one who has proven they won't fold when things get tough. They follow the one who leads with integrity. And that can be you. It starts with your next choice, and then the next, and the next after that, until one day you look around and realize you've built a life you are proud of, a life no one can take away because it's built on truth, and truth stands no matter what. There's a quiet kind of power that comes from knowing who you are, not who people think you are, not who the world says you should be, but who you really are. And that power is rare, because most people are too busy chasing approval to stand still and look inside. But when you know yourself, when you've done the hard work of understanding your values, and you stand by them even when it's hard, you become unstoppable. Not because life stops challenging you, but because you stop doubting yourself. And that's the difference. You stop needing permission to be great. You stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're enough. Because you already know it, you already live it. And when you carry that energy, you don't need validation, you become the validation. And people feel it, they respect it, even if they don't understand it. Because deep down, everyone craves authenticity. But only a few are brave enough to live it. The truth is, life will always give you opportunities to compromise. Moments where cutting corners would be easier. Times when staying silent would be safer. But strength isn't built in comfort. It's built in those moments when you choose courage over convenience. When you choose to stand up, even if your voice shakes. Even if you stand alone. Because what you stand for matters more than who stands with you. And if you want to know someone's character, watch how they act when no one is watching. Watch how they treat those who have nothing to offer them. Watch how they handle disappointment, rejection, and failure. Because that's when the truth shows up, not when things are easy, but when life presses in. Some people crumble under that weight. They give up on their values. They trade integrity for comfort. But some rise. They stay true. They keep their word, even when it costs them something. And those are the people who lead. Those are the people who inspire because they've earned it. They've shown they can be trusted, not just when it benefits them, but when it doesn't. And that's rare. That's powerful. And you can be that person. It doesn't require perfection. It requires commitment. A decision you make over and over to be better, to stay true, to live in alignment with your values, no matter what the world throws at you. Psychologists call this integrity of self. It's when your inner values and your outer actions are the same. And when they are, you feel peace, you feel clarity, you feel strength. Because there's no conflict inside, no hiding, no pretending, just truth. And truth is powerful because truth stands even when everything else falls. And when you live in truth, you inspire others to do the same. You become a light in a world full of shadows. You become an example of what's possible, not because you're perfect, but because you're real, because you're consistent, because you're willing to do the hard things even when no one sees. That's the kind of legacy that lasts. Not a legacy of things, but a legacy of character, of values, of strength. And that's a legacy no one can take from you, because it's who you are. And who you are is the only thing that truly matters in the end. So ask yourself, what do you stand for? Not what do you say you believe, but what do you show you believe in your choices, in your actions, in your life? Because your life tells the truth, even if your words don't. And people see it, even if you think they don't. And more importantly, you see it, you feel it, and you live with it. So build something you can be proud of. Build a life of integrity, of kindness, of courage. Because that's where real success lives, not in applause, but in authenticity, not in status, but in substance, not in image, but in truth. The kind of truth that holds steady when life gets hard. The kind of truth that doesn't need an audience to stay strong. The kind of truth that becomes a foundation, unshakable, unbreakable, and unmovable. That's where freedom is. That's where peace is. And that's where your best life begins. Not by trying to be someone else, but by being all of who you are, fully, completely, and without apology. Because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs you, the real you, the one who lives with heart, with courage, and with truth. And when you do that, you change the world, starting with your own. There's something powerful that happens when you stop waiting for permission to be yourself, when you stop looking for approval and start giving yourself the approval you've been searching for. That shift changes everything, because suddenly you're no longer living to fit into a box. You're no longer shrinking to make others comfortable. You're expanding, you're standing tall, and you're living the life you were meant to live. But it's not always easy to take that stand, because the world will try to tell you who to be. It will try to define you, limit you, and tell you how far you can go. And if you're not careful, you'll start to believe it. You'll start to think you have to fit into their expectations to be accepted. But the truth is, you were never meant to fit in. You were born to stand out, and you were made for more. The problem is we spend so much time worrying about what people think, what they'll say, whether they'll approve. But those opinions don't build your future. Your choices do, your actions do. And every time you hold yourself back to make someone else comfortable, you're trading your potential for their approval. And that's a trade you can't afford to make, because no matter how much you try to please them, it will never be enough. There will always be someone who doubts you, someone who misunderstands you, someone who thinks you can't. But that's not your problem. Their doubts are not your destiny. And their opinions do not define your value. You define that by how you show up, by how you live, by how you choose to stand tall, even when they don't understand. You have to get clear about one thing. This is your life, and you get one shot at it. There are no do-overs, no rewinds. Every day is a chance to move forward, and every day you hesitate, you give away time you'll never get back. Time that could be spent building, growing, becoming. And here's the truth about time. It's the most valuable thing you have. More valuable than money, more valuable than anything people can give you, because once it's gone, you can't earn it back, you can't replace it. So why spend it doubting yourself? Why waste it trying to please people who aren't even paying attention to their own lives? Why give your energy to opinions that won't matter a year from now? You are here to live, to lead, to grow into the strongest, boldest version of yourself. And that starts with deciding to take ownership of your life. Ownership means you stop making excuses, you stop waiting for the perfect moment, you stop blaming your past, and you start creating your future. Because your past is a chapter, but it's not the whole book. And no matter what's happened before, you can turn the page, you can start again, you can choose differently right now, this very moment. And that choice is what changes everything. But it has to come from you. No one else can do it for you. No one can hand you the life you dream about. You have to build it. And you build it brick by brick, choice by choice, action by action. Even when it's hard, even when no one sees it, even when you're tired. Because that's where strength is forged, in the moments that no one claps for, in the days where you feel like quitting, but you keep going anyway. That's where character is built. That's where confidence comes from. And that's where you prove to yourself that you are more powerful than you think. And here's something most people forget. You don't need to feel ready to start. You don't need to feel fearless to take action. You just need to move. You just need to take the next step. And once you do, momentum builds, courage grows, and what felt impossible yesterday becomes your new normal today. Psychology teaches us that action creates clarity, not the other way around. You don't sit around waiting for clarity to take action. You move first, and clarity follows. So stop waiting, stop doubting, start building, start becoming, because you have everything you need inside of you right now. You just have to believe it. You just have to act on it. And when you do, you become unstoppable. Not because you never fall, but because you never stay down. You rise. Again and again. And with every rise, you become stronger, you become clearer, you become the kind of person who leads, who inspires, and who lives a life that matters, not just for yourself, but for everyone who watches you and realizes they can rise too. And that is the real impact. That is the real success, becoming the person you were born to be and showing others it's possible for them too. So stand tall. Move forward and don't stop. Your future is waiting for you to claim it. There is something incredible about a person who refuses to give up, someone who chooses to keep going even when everything around them says stop. That kind of strength can be taught in a classroom. It's built in the quiet moments, in the times when no one is watching, in the silence when you feel like you're on your own. And yet, you still move forward, because life will test you. It will push you to the edge. It will ask you, how bad do you really want it? And your answer can't just be words. It has to be action. Action that says, no matter how heavy this gets, I will carry it. Action that says, I don't need easy, I just need possible. Because possible is enough. Possible means there's a chance. And a chance is all you need when you're determined. But the truth is, not everyone will understand your hunger. Not everyone will understand why you work so hard, why you stay up late, why you sacrifice what others are not willing to give up. And that's okay. It's not their path, it's yours. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to live a life that feels right to you. Some people will criticize you, some will doubt you, and some will even walk away because they can't handle your growth. But growth isn't meant to be comfortable. Growth stretches you, it pulls you, it demands more from you, and sometimes it costs you relationships, comfort, and familiarity. But the reward is becoming someone you're proud of. The reward is waking up each day knowing you didn't settle. The strongest people you know didn't get there because life handed them an easy road. They got there because they kept showing up when it was hard. They got there because they refused to quit, even when they were tired, even when they felt like they had nothing left. And that's what makes the difference. Not talent, not luck, persistence. The choice to keep moving. The choice to keep believing in yourself when no one else does. And here's something that most people forget. The hardest battle is always the one inside your mind. Your thoughts can build you up, or they can tear you down. Your beliefs will either fuel you, or they will hold you back. And it's up to you to decide which ones you feed, because what you focus on grows. If you focus on the obstacles, they'll get bigger. If you focus on the possibilities, your strength will grow. And when your strength grows, your life changes. Every day you have a choice. You can focus on your limitations, or you can focus on your potential. You can listen to fear, or you can listen to courage. You can stay where you are, or you can take one more step forward. And each time you choose forward, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Don't wait for the perfect moment to feel ready. You become ready by taking action. You become strong by doing the hard things. You become confident by facing what scares you. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving despite it. It's saying, I'm scared, but I'll do it anyway. And that's how you build a life you're proud of, one courageous decision at a time. People often ask, what if I fail? But what if you fly? What if this risk leads you to something greater than you ever imagined? What if the struggle you're facing right now is shaping you into the person who can handle the success you've been dreaming of? Because success isn't just about achieving something. It's about becoming someone who is disciplined, someone who is strong, someone who is unstoppable. And no one gets there by accident. No one stumbles into greatness. They create it. They work for it. They keep going when they want to quit. And every time they get knocked down, because deep down they know their purpose is bigger than their pain. Their future is more important than their fear. So keep showing up, keep moving, even when it feels slow, even when it feels invisible. Every small step is building momentum. Every hard day is building resilience. And every time you choose not to give up, you are rewriting your story. You are proving to yourself that you can do hard things. You are turning your pain into power and your doubt into determination. And that kind of strength, that kind of power, it changes everything. Because once you know how strong you are, there's nothing you can't handle. There's nothing you can't overcome. And there's nothing stopping you from becoming everything you were meant to be. This is your time. This is your moment. Own it. Strength isn't just about how much you can carry. It's about how much you can endure and still keep moving forward. It's about the quiet battles you fight when no one is watching, the silent struggles that test your willpower, and still you rise. Still you choose to push through. That choice, that decision to keep going, that's where true character is revealed. Because life will always offer you two choices: surrender or stand up. Give up or give it everything you've got. And the people who stand tall, no matter how hard they've been knocked down, are the ones who become unstoppable. Not because life was easier for them, but because they refuse to let life break them. And here's the truth. Nobody escapes challenges. Nobody walks through life without scars. But it's the meaning you give those scars that makes the difference. You can let them be a reminder of pain, or you can let them be a reminder of your survival. A sign that you endured what others couldn't. A reminder that you've already overcome so much, and you're still here, stronger, wiser, and far more capable than you were before. When you begin to see life this way, everything changes. You stop asking, why me, and start asking, what is this teaching me? You stop feeling sorry for yourself and you start feeling proud of the strength you've built. Because you didn't give up. You didn't back down. And that counts for something. It counts for everything. But there's another side to strength that most people forget. True strength is also about kindness. It's about compassion. It's about how you treat others when you have the power to hurt them. when you're in a position where you could act out of pride or revenge, but you choose grace instead. That's a power very few people understand. The ability to stay gentle in a world that has tried to harden you. The ability to stay kind when you have every reason to be bitter. That's a reflection of real inner power. And here's something to remember. The way people treat others, especially those who can do nothing for them, shows who they really are. Watch how someone treats the waiter at the restaurant. Watch how they speak to the janitor. Watch how they react when someone disagrees with them. Those moments are where true character lives. Not in the words people say when life is easy, but in the actions they take when life tests them. Real leaders don't need to raise their voice to be heard. They don't need to demand respect. It's given to them because they earn it through their actions, through humility, through consistency, through doing the right thing even when it's hard. That's the difference between power and force. Anyone can force something, but power comes from within. Power stands still and unshaken even when everything around it is chaos. And when you stand in your true power, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to beg for approval. You don't need to shrink yourself to fit someone else's comfort zone. You walk into every room knowing who you are. You stand tall because you've built yourself from the ground up, and no one can take that away from you. But it takes courage to get there. It takes facing the parts of yourself you want to avoid. It takes doing the hard work no one else sees. It takes being honest about your weaknesses and then working every day to turn them into strengths. Not because someone else told you to, but because you made a decision to become better for yourself. And here's the most powerful truth. You are already enough. You don't need to earn your worth. It was there the moment you were born. But becoming the strongest version of yourself, that's a choice. A choice you make every day when you decide not to give up. When you choose to be disciplined, even when you're tired. When you stay true to your values, even when no one is watching. That's where your greatness is built. No one can do that work for you. No one can hand you resilience or discipline. It's something you build in silence. In early mornings when you rise before the sun. In late nights when you're still grinding while others have quit. It's forged in sacrifice. In the decisions no one claps for. But you'll know, you'll feel it. Every time you push through, you're adding another layer of strength to who you are. You're becoming unbreakable, and soon people will notice. Not because you told them, but because your presence will speak for itself. Quiet confidence, unshakable peace, strength that doesn't need to announce itself. That's what happens when you do the work. That's what happens when you stay the course. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence, it's about progress. It's about waking up every day and deciding, today I will not quit. Even if it's slow, even if it's hard, you just keep moving forward. And one day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. You'll realize the mountains you climbed, the battles you won, and you'll smile because you know it was worth it. You'll know that the person you've become was forged in the fire, was made in the storm, and now nothing can break you. This is your life, your journey, your strength. Own it. At the end of it all, it comes down to one simple truth. Your life is in your hands, not in the hands of luck, not in the hands of other people's opinions, not in the hands of circumstance. Every single day you have the power to choose. To choose who you are, to choose how you show up, to choose how you respond, even when life doesn't go your way. That is where real freedom lies. That is where real power is born. It's not about having control over everything. It's about having control over yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your attitude. When you realize this, you stop waiting for the world to change. You start changing yourself. You stop hoping for life to be easier, and you start deciding to be stronger. And with every small decision, you shape your destiny. The truth is, most people are waiting for the right time, waiting for permission, waiting for something to happen. But life doesn't reward those who wait. Life rewards those who move, those who act in spite of fear, those who trust themselves when no one else does. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the most talented. You just need to be the one who refuses to give up, the one who shows up day after day, hungry to grow, determined to push forward. That's what separates those who dream from those who live their dreams. And remember this, every struggle you've faced, every failure, every heartbreak, it wasn't wasted. It was shaping you, teaching you, preparing you for something bigger. You didn't come this far to only come this far. You are still becoming, still rising, still evolving. And no matter how many times you've fallen, no matter how long it's taken you, you are still here. And that means you still have a choice. You still have a chance to become everything you were meant to be. Don't let the weight of your past stop you from walking into your future. Don't let fear hold you back from stepping into your greatness. You are stronger than you know, wiser than you believe, and braver than you've ever imagined. And the world needs your strength. It needs your courage. It needs the fire that burns inside of you. Because somewhere, someone is waiting to be inspired by your story. Someone is waiting to see you rise so they can believe it's possible to rise too. And when you live fully, when you stand in your truth, when you lead with your heart, you give others permission to do the same. That's how change happens. One person who decides to be fearless. One person who decides to never quit. One person who chooses to stand tall even when it's hard. So stand tall, own your story, embrace your power, and never forget you are becoming the person you were always meant to be. You are already enough, but you are capable of so much more. The journey doesn't end here. It's only the beginning. And if you keep showing up, if you keep believing, if you keep moving forward, one day you look back and realize you became everything you once dreamed of and more. This is your time, your life, your story. Make it a masterpiece.